Team USA athletes are busy training for the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. It is coming fast. Two-time and back-to-back gold medalist in triple jump and Fayetteville, Georgia native Christian Taylor is joining me right now. Christian, great to see you. How you doing?
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Always happy to connect with you, and I'm doing fantastic. Excited for a new year, a promising year, and an Olympic year.
Yeah, how is training going?
Training has been fantastic. I'm now at full health, full capacity, and beyond optimistic and hopeful. I'm expectant, right? I'm expectant for another opportunity to represent my country on the biggest stage, and there's just something in the air that's very different when it comes to the Olympic season.
No doubt. You mentioned your health. For people who may not know the full backstory, you have been fighting your way back from a serious injury. Talk us through what happened and even the timing of that right before the Tokyo Games.
Absolutely. So I believe it was a blessing in disguise, but unfortunately 2 months out before the Tokyo 2021 season, Summer Games, I ruptured my Achilles. And as you can imagine, this was not on the radar. This is not what we planned or hoped for, but I've now learned that this was only setting me up for something far greater. And so it was an opportunity to just realign and reassess and put myself in an environment, in a position to now come and I believe, discover and reach the best version of myself, which I think if some people look at my resume, they would think, you know, where else can you go? How much further can you climb? But I believe, you know, until I have that world record title under my belt, then that's what I'm pursuing. That's what I'm chasing, and that's what's driving me day in and day out. And so I'm just very, like I said, just very hopeful that the stars align this year. I can make this team because that is ultimately going to be the greatest challenge. But once I'm in Paris, once I've sealed the deal, then it's anyone's game.
Yeah. You are no stranger to coming back after an injury. You have done that before and won gold after an injury before. I mean, this is another really impressive chapter in a long journey for you at the elite level.
Absolutely, and I believe everyone can relate to this because, you know, coming off the pandemic, we all just learned a little bit about ourselves. We discovered how creative we could be and even how resilient we could be. And so in athletics, it's no different. When your back is against the wall, it's that fight or flight mentality. And I've definitely had my set of injuries and challenges and just had to make that decision. Am I going to keep pushing forward, or, you know, am I going to back down? And I've always risen to the occasion with the help of family, friends, you know, and just amazing people around me that believe in me and encourage me. And even when I have moments of doubt, I'm human, right? And I question, you know, do I have the strength to continue? Do I really, is that fire going to burn bright enough to get me to that next stage? You know, I have tremendous people around me that say, you can do it. You've done it before. You know, don't let this stop you. And I think it's really, you know, the teamwork that, you know, that makes the dream work, or a village that helps you accomplish this. Though I am part of an individual sport, it has been numerous people, you know, my high school, my elementary school, my university that have always had my back.
You know, one person right by your side is your coach, who is far more than your coach. And how important has that been, that connection, that relationship through the injury and now heading into an Olympic year?
Yes, my wife has been a tremendous source of strength before and after, and continues to really be the one that is challenging me day in, day out as my coach. But then, you know, afterwards is the one that's encouraging me, filling me up, and you know, just continue to fan that flame. You know, and I think it's so important for anyone listening, for anyone in sports or in life, you know, to make sure that you surround yourself with people that really do want to fan that flame, that really want to see you at your best, that will challenge you and will call you out. You know, I think that's also very important. But you know, I think when you have the right support system around you, anything is possible.
And she understands because she has also competed at an Olympics at an elite level. So there is that understanding there that's so unique as well.
Absolutely.
So, Christian, how does the schedule, maybe the approach to training, the mindset change as we are closing in on the summer games? It is 2024, and it comes so much faster than maybe it feels.
Absolutely. So with championship season, I think there's a lot more attention to detail, believe it or not, which seems weird because a world championship or the other major events, you would think that there's great attention given to the preparation, but an Olympic year, you are dissecting every day, every moment, every exercise, because you're basically filling that plate, filling that tank. Each day focus on that 1%, because when the big moments comes, when the lights come on, you don't want to have to question anything. And so I think this is what my wife and I are really paying close attention to day in, day out. We're also working very closely with the USOPC to make sure that our trajectory, that we are working towards the common goal, which is not just making the team. It's not just being a medalist, but I've been to the mountaintop. I've been able, to be a gold medalist. And so we also know the trail that is required, the work that is required. And so we're just making sure that we're aligned with that. And as I said, on that day, it's about who's ready, who's mentally ready, who's physically ready, who's healthiest. And I believe, I do have the added advantage of having that experience, because as I do know what it takes and what is required. And I'm, I believe that we have these special cards in our hand.
You make a really good point, because the Olympics comes up, every 4 years in the summer, and it gets on people's radar suddenly, but you all have been doing it day in, day out, year after year after year. And that is a level of commitment and consistency that is hard for the average person to tap into.
Cheryl, they say if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And to make the big picture very small, a lot of the kids that I mentor remind me every day that I'm living the dream. I jump in a sandbox for a living, right? And so this is what they do at recess or, on the playground. And I'm just doing this on a bigger stage. And I absolutely love what I do, which excites me day in, day out. Doesn't mean that there aren't trainings that are challenging and that push me. But I have the opportunity to travel the world, jumping in sandboxes. And I just think that's just such a privilege.
Your sandbox just happens to come with a whole armful of, world championships, back-to-back gold medals, and athlete of the decade, oh, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is so much excitement around these Olympics, Christian. Paris as a host city, and the games back with fans and family in the stands. Are you feeling all of that too?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, with LA 2028, feels like around the corner already. It would be fantastic to end at home and in the States. And I think that would be so special. That would be, the way that the fireworks would go off. But that is also a big ask. I would be 38 at that point and have dreams of also starting a family and just seeing what else is out there. But with the focus being on Paris, being my third games, I think it's just an opportunity that I want to put myself in a position almost similar to Michael Jordan with The Last Dance, that you just go out on top and have fans, have family saying, why not continue? Why not see what else is out there? I want to go out on top, go out on a bang and go out on my terms. And I think that's going to be very special.
Yeah, talk a little bit more about that. What would a third Olympics mean to you?
Believe it or not, every time I go into a championship, I believe it's my first, because in the end, what I've done in the past, what I've accomplished, will not put me on that podium. It's all about what you do and achieve on that day. And so my mindset is always, I'm always very hopeful and expectant, and the bar is set. But at the same time, once a competition begins, it's the slate is clean, and I have to execute on that day. And so it's tough to balance that, because I want to carry that confidence, that saying that I've been here and you know what it takes. But at the same time, you have to say, well, this person on my left and right might be bringing something that I don't expect, might throw me a curveball, might make me sit back a little bit and have to change our game plan. And so I just try to go in there with my experience, but also with fresh eyes. And it's a bit of an internal battle, but in the past it's got me on top of the podium, and so I just continue to tap into that at least one more time.
You know, I've been meeting a few Georgia athletes that have already qualified rock climbing, for instance, with Emma Hunt. And she said, I can't even imagine what this is going to feel like with USA on my back, you know, being an opening ceremony. So for someone who has experienced that, how would you put that into words and how meaningful that is?
I would say so. There's some special moment I believe in everyone's life, and you know, for me, graduating college was so special. You know, putting your cap and gown on, and just realizing all the work that you put in has got you to this moment that now you, your friends, your family can celebrate this accomplishment. And I feel like it's so similar. You put USA on your back. You know, whether it's a book bag, the sweater, whatever it may be, and hopefully the flag at some point if you are on the medal stand. But you know, you just have this sense of pride and accomplishment, knowing that all your hard work, all your sacrifices, all the commitment to the hot and cold and rainy and anytime you were faced with adversity, that you found a way to persevere. And now you are walking out, living out your dream. And there's just something that's just so special about that. And I found that the most special moments were really when you were out the stadium, when you went back to the village, you went back into your room and you looked at a medal, or you just almost look back at the memories, the journey that got you there. And that's when it's almost overwhelming. But you almost just have this attitude of gratitude.
And something magical about the Olympics in the way that it brings the world together in this moment of time. And there's this sense of unity and camaraderie that is so unique, especially, you know, as the world faces so many intense challenges.
Absolutely. Sport has united the world, you know, through history. And this is no different. I'm so grateful that we do have the opportunity to compete for our nations and to compete with competitors and friends near and far. But I think there is just something special about, you know, a group of people, a community of people coming together, you know, cheering for good, cheering for positivity. And that's something that I think the world can use more of, you know, just having that spirit of hope and aspiration and seeing that, you know, and that's why I always like to go back home and share my medals and share my story and touch the hands of our future stars, because I want them to see I'm no different. Though you watch me on TV, though you see me on YouTube, I'm no Superman. I'm no different. I walk the same hallways. I had the same questions and doubts and struggles, and it was just all about the mindset. I just committed to something. I believed in something. I surrounded myself with the right people, and I was able to achieve it years later. And so, you know, for anyone that is watching the games, you know, if you have a dream, that you can achieve it also.
You walk the halls at Sandy Creek High School in Fayetteville, and you go back there every year, which means so much to all this, the next generation of track and field athletes. Talk a little bit about the Invitational. It's coming up quickly.
Absolutely. 6th annual Christian Taylor Invitational being held on March 23rd at Sandy Creek High School in Tyrone, Georgia. And this is just an opportunity that I thought I would just take on with the school to give them experience of what it's like to compete at the next level. Again, I talk about that mentality. Things I try to pass on, little nuggets of knowledge of what the mistakes I made, you know, when I was in school and when I was less experienced, and the things I've learned throughout my journey, and things that can help them basically accelerate through the ranks. And so we have great gifts and live music, and I believe it's a great atmosphere. It's a positive atmosphere. But we just also like to seek out the top level of athletics, and obviously, biasly, I try to, you know, help the Patriots prepare for the state championships and get them exposed to what that level of you know, excellent track and field is going to be like. But at the same time, I also want them to have that balance of, I push hard, but now I can have fun, and now I can cheer on my teammates, and just I think that's what sports is all about. You know, loving what you do, taking it very serious and investing the time, but then also making sure that you are having fun. You are taking time to be human and find that balance.
And I love how Sandy Creek hosts your invitational, but brings in athletes from all over Metro Atlanta to have that experience together on the track where you competed and on the track where your dad coached you.
Yes, yes. No, it's very special. And even to see how the jumps pit have even been moved to the side, because I was having challenges when I was there, almost jumping out the pit, literally. And so there are a lot of memories, fond memories. And when I come home for Thanksgiving and Christmas break, I have the opportunities to train there myself, but also see, the next stars training and just to be able to walk out life with them. I think that's very special. But I'm very proud of Sandy Creek High School. We were state champions last year, and so the legacy continues. But it's just that winning mentality. You just want it to carry on, and so I'm so proud of what the school is doing. The athletics are leading in football and basketball and track. It's just a good time to be a Patriot.
You're still connected to the Patriots, but you're still connected to your elementary school too. You do like classroom mentorship with them, right?
Yes. So with Birch Elementary, I'm so proud because this is where my journey began. This is where my love for athletics and my love for sports really began. Being a part of the running club. Every morning I used to show up and just do laps before school, and that's when I found my love of running. And so I've invited them to come over, now every year to be a part and run a relay in a big meet for them, right? So you can have 2,000 students there and spectators, and they can just be in this atmosphere that is very different than their morning runs. But I think that is just going to plant a seed that this is what next level sports looks like. And who knows, maybe some future track stars can blossom from there, but it's just all about giving them exposure and an opportunity to see what's out there.
Yeah, I loved it last year when that whole crew just was following you right onto the track. You were just leading the charge. They were so excited. I mean, what kids get to follow a back-to-back gold medalist back at his school and, and be in there with them? I mean, it's really fun to watch and just really appreciate how you've been so invested and so connected in the community, Christian.
It is special, and I just believe that, again, taking my experience, I was so used to having assemblies and someone coming in and speaking to us for an hour, and then we go and that's it, right? And I'm just thinking, for my experience, I want it to be a lifetime, a long-lasting one. That's something that is not something you could just easily forget. But if you are really invested and committed and just walk life with people, you have a better chance of making a greater impact. And so that's really where my heart is, and something that Birch and Sandy Creek have allowed me to do.
When you visualize this summer, what would the ultimate goal be? What would you visualize as what that goal would be that you're working towards?
Well, the last outstanding goal is the world record. And so I've always dreamed my birthday wish, every time I could throw something out there, I always said that my ultimate dream of my career would be to break the world record at the Olympic Games. I just think there's no greater achievement at a bigger moment in sports. And so that would be what my wife and I, what my coach and I are working towards, and making sure that everything is tailored towards that moment.
I know there have been hard days as you've been coming back from your injury, but you've always, met those moments in a way that really inspires a lot of other people in your positivity, but your realness too. And so just thanks. Thanks for letting us be along on the journey, whatever it has been in the, highest of the highs, but the hard times too.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. And thank you, everyone in the Metro Atlanta region. Your support means the world to me. Your support for the Christian Taylor Invitational, your support for my career, and I just want to continue to represent Atlanta in the best light possible.
And I loved what you're saying, that it's not that there aren't hard days. I mean, who wouldn't feel a lot after spending 3 years putting your heart and soul into a goal and so close to that Olympics, getting that injury? I mean, that takes some mental toughness to come back from that.
Yes, yep. But it's will, right? And if you want something bad enough, you're gonna find a way to make it happen. And so that's just one thing that's always near and dear to my heart. And I always believe if I could do it, when I want to quit, I just think of just being an example for someone. I said, if I can do it, you can too, right? And so those are really, when I have to dig deep, that's just what I think about.
It's so good. It's relatable. Anybody facing any challenge can apply that, and I appreciate those messages that you share.
Yeah, thanks so much, Cheryl.
All right, well, say hi to everybody for me, and
Will do.
And I'll text you some pictures from the Invitational. We'll be there bright and early and can't wait.
Excellent. Appreciate you so much.